Universal basic income, paying citizens a stipend to help them survive. Why not? I mean, who doesn't want $1,000 a month? Is this a trick question? Wait, is this a trick question? Who's tricking me? Why are they tricking me? I'm Matt Lieb, and today we're looking at the issues with universal basic income. Specifically, how it could be used as a way to gut the social welfare state and uphold an unjust economic system. And before you say anything, gang, yes, I've been to Andrew Yang's website, which at this point is just a sweepstakes to win $1,000. And yeah, I signed up, all right? I really like money. This episode isn't just about Democratic presidential candidate, philanthropist, and former tech worker Andrew Yang, although the energy around him is a bit overwhelming. And by overwhelming, I mean culty, like if the Manson family were techies. The Yang campaign kind of feels like a drug dealer, except instead of pushing meth, they're pushing math. Hey man, I recently tried math. It's like, it makes you feel super powerful and like real smart. I'm smart too. Also, what if everyone had $1,000? Like you get $1,000, you get $1,000, we all get $1,000. Dude, I was thinking about it. It's pretty good. They're fervent, especially over Yang's plan to give every American, regardless of income, $1,000 a month. Just watch this video shared by the official Yang campaign.
I want 1,000 a month, 1,000 a month, I want 1,000 a month, 1,000 a month. Let's get this bread. Freedom dividend.
I love rap. Why does that eagle look like it's pleading with the viewer? Don't buy it. Why are you watching this Gen Z bullshit? Run! Yes, the freedom dividend. But freedom for whom? Is it freedom for citizens to get ahead in times of massive income inequality? Or freedom for the government from hearing anyone whine about it? Let's look at universal basic income, or UBI. What is it?
It's where the government agrees to pay a minimum salary to each and every member of society, no strings attached.
Everyone gets an equal amount of money from the government every month, no strings attached.
That every month, here's money to use with no strings attached.
They keep saying no strings attached. Why does it sound like UBI wants to start an open relationship with me? UBI is essentially a payment from the government to every adult citizen, the goal being to reduce economic inequality and unemployment. UBI experiments have actually been implemented in countries like Kenya and Finland and in cities like Stockton, California. And while the impact of UBI is still being determined, signs show it's helped low-income people get on their feet. That's probably why many progressives are in favor of some form of UBI. Part of Black Lives Matter's platform was a basic income program, and even Martin Luther King Jr. wrote about a basic income for Americans. But it's the strange bedfellows from the right who also support UBI that should make us take a closer look at it. People like Richard Nixon, or the godfather of free market economic orthodoxy himself, Milton Friedman. Plus billionaires like Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg support UBI. UBI is one of those things that appeals to everyone, like Will Smith. But the question is, which form of Will Smith are we talking about here? Because if it's this one, then I'm out. So what is the catch that would make such free market lovers embrace Yang's UBI plan? Well, there's a number of things. First, it could be used to undermine the social safety net by making people choose between $1,000 or certain social programs like food stamps and housing vouchers, which is what Yang's plan entails.
We're already spending hundreds of billions of dollars on 126 existing welfare programs, which would be largely consolidated. A lot of that would get replaced by this dividend because people would vastly prefer $1,000 in cash.
So wait, you're telling me people would have to decide whether or not to keep accepting food stamps or take the $1,000 a month? That's some seriously bummer math. This plan assumes that I'm good at budgeting, and I once tried to wait out strep throat so I could afford Red Dead Redemption 2, so I'm dying. Implementing UBI in this way would be a step toward what Republicans and libertarians dream of doing, chipping away at what's left of our country's social safety net, a system that's in place to help the neediest. Rather, this one-size-fits-all solution ignores different needs that different people have, not to mention the cost of living in different places. $1,000 can get you a one-bedroom with a walk-in closet in Kansas City, while $1,000 in San Francisco can get you the walk-in closet. That's about it. Another sign that this might not actually be a progressive policy is the way that Yang plans to pay for UBI. Whereas candidates like Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren propose raising taxes on the wealthy, Yang isn't too concerned about taxing extreme wealth.
To me, the focus on income taxes is not the right way to go, and I'm going to use Jeff Bezos as an example. So Jeff started Amazon. He has over $100 billion in Amazon stock. Hasn't sold any.
Right.
And so there's no taxable event.
So a wealth tax.
No, and so I think a wealth tax, too, is not the right way to go.
I love how the guy whose campaign slogan is math is suddenly stumped when it comes to percentages. I don't know how taxes work. What am I, a mathematician? Instead, Yang proposes a value-added tax on consumer goods, which is a regressive tax because it would mostly fall on lower-income Americans who can least afford it. And he basically admits as much.
The knock on it, which is accurate, is that people with lower levels of income spend a higher proportion of their money on various consumer goods, and so a value-added tax proportionally hits them harder.
Essentially, the very same people who would benefit the most from a UBI would be disproportionately paying for it, which kind of sounds like a wealth transfer to the rich. Yang's UBI plan is basically to buy you off so you no longer seek certain government benefits and claims that it's somehow better. It's like when you were a kid and your parents said that they were going to give you an allowance, and right before you got excited about it, they were like, also, we're going to stop raising you. Tech titans are some of the biggest proponents for UBI. Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg has said it's a way to encourage entrepreneurs to start businesses and have a support system to fall back on if they fail. Other tech billionaires say it's the best way to protect American jobs, a quarter of which are being lost to automation.
This is really like the scariest problem to me, I'll tell you. Because what's going to happen is robots will be able to do everything better than us. I'm including, all of us. I'm not sure exactly what to do about this.
You mean other than make $1 billion off of it? Is that what you're talking about? Wait, why does it sound like a bot stole Grimes away from Elon Musk? Bruh, did you get cucked by her drum machine? Hey, Grimes, let me holler at you. You look fly. So stupid. The problem with the idea that robots are going to automate humans out of jobs is that it forgets that humans make robots. So automation and people losing their jobs are only inevitable if humans make it so. But Yang supporters seem to be bizarrely resigned about the robot takeover.
I'm here with Robot, and you said that you're here to take our jobs.
I am the future, and we were going to take your jobs. Do you work as a cook, retail? Even if you're a lawyer, that's going to get automated away. People don't understand. The future's coming. It's going to happen sooner than you believe.
Wow, that looks like the most depressing Comic-Con cosplay ever. Okay, when you press this button, it busts unions. And when you press this button, it sends in the scabs. Look, I get it. I too have seen all of the Terminator movies and been like, you know what? You can enslave all of us if you just stop making sequels. But Yang applies that same nihilism around the economy to climate change as well, with this glib answer in one of the Democratic primary debates.
This is going to be a tough truth, but we are too late. We are 10 years too late. We need to do everything we can to start moving the climate in the right direction, but we also need to start moving our people to higher ground.
I love how commendingly defeatist he is about the coming climate apocalypse. Honestly, it's over, doggy. Move to higher ground, learn how to fish, and gain a taste for human flesh. Oh, you don't have a fishing rod? Here's $1,000. That nihilism gets to the heart of why UBI, as it's being presented, is merely a band-aid on the head wound called capitalism. Yang's UBI isn't trying to stop the bleeding of economic inequality with progressive taxes or regulations or expanding the social safety net. Instead, it's a bone for the 99% to chew on while leaving crony capitalism and corporate domination intact. Because I did go to Andrew Yang's website, and guess what? He says as much, writing that the freedom dividend is necessary for the continuation of capitalism through the automation wave and displacement of workers. Markets need consumers to sell things to. The freedom dividend is capitalism with a floor that people cannot fall beneath. The problem is there's no ceiling on economic growth. So it's nice that there's a floor, but if there's no ceiling, aren't we just sleeping outside? Like, are we homeless in this scenario? Because we sound homeless. This form of UBI to me sounds like revolution insurance for the rich. It's a fund that pays us just enough to choose an Oculus Rift over a guillotine. All I'm doing is presenting you with a choice. Here's my head, or here's $1,000. Now, this entire discussion at this point is all theoretical. Yang probably won't be the Democratic Party's nominee, and kids in Uganda might end up with a bunch of free hats from America that say math on them. Rad. But still, it's important to understand that UBI without economic justice is simply a libertarian Trojan horse. It starts to dismantle the social welfare state and tells Americans that they're on their own in an economy that's rapidly making them disposable. That's why Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren believe not in guaranteed money, but in a federal jobs guarantee. And when asked about UBI, they make it about structural economic reform.
Let me end on a question about universal basic income.
I am absolutely sympathetic to that approach. That's why I'm fighting for a $15 an hour minimum wage, why I'm fighting to make sure that everybody in this country gets the nutrition they need, why I'm fighting to expand Social Security benefits.
Universal basic income.
I think there's so much more that we should do before we get there. Start with universal child care. Do the student loan debt forgiveness. Give people more opportunities. Let's get everybody on board and try that.
If we believe we have the power to organize and make an actual change, we don't have to cede our jobs to robots, our benefits back to the state, or move to higher ground to avoid climate change. Because sure, getting that bread sounds dope, but it doesn't really matter if you can't get actual bread, does it? Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching Newsbroke. This was a very fun piece to do. We did a lot of research and oh look, you're trolling us. So what are your thoughts on UBI? I know that we have a lot of progressives who watch this channel who believe in some form of UBI. What do you think the best method is to actually achieving a universal basic income without completely dismantling the social safety net? My name is Matt Lieb. Follow me on Twitter @MattLieb or on Instagram @MattLiebJokes. Thanks so much for putting up with me. Next week, our regular host Francesca Fiorentini will be back with a piece about American exceptionalism. It's gonna be great. Exceptional even.